So a brand new Minecraft Legacy Edition minigames online update has just came out for October 2023, and it is a brand new progress update that introduces a lot of new things of course and fixes, but mainly as well a brand new game mode. Now this update did actually come out not just last week but the week before that, and I was meaning to actually cover it but I've not got around to it obviously soon enough, but here we are right now, so let's get right into today's video. So jumping on over to the Legacy Edition minigames blog post area, we've got the October 2023 progress update blog post posted on November 4th 2023. It says, welcome back. There's been a lot that has changed since the last time we posted one of these, so let's get started. First of all, what's new? You may not have noticed, but LEM has been updated. The following changes are now available. More detailed armor and arrows. Armor and tipped arrows will now properly display info about them when hovering your mouse on them. Then it goes on to of course show armor, amount of armor points given to the player, and then arrows, amount of time the effects will last of course, and it gives us actually some actual I guess descriptions or some photographs for I guess an example of this. Then going on from there, it's got fixed wind detection. The wind detection has been fixed and should now properly find who has won the game every time. Then we've got new death options. There are two new game options introduced in the combat options menu. You can find these options in the death options page in combat settings, or in combat options, excuse me. And of course we get another photograph to actually show us these options in general. Now these options, as you can see, are normal, keep and clear. And from my recollection, obviously Emmie actually had already spoken to me about these options before they were officially released. In fact, it was when she was properly working on them. So basically in a nutshell, if you've ever played Minecraft Battle Mode, of course the original or even the LEM version, more or less original, we'll focus on here for a minute, you probably will have played a game mode where there's been either unlimited lives or say 5 lives. So that means that you can die and the game isn't over right away. Of course you get an extra 5 or 4 or 10 or whatever lives of course the number is set to, and it's an amazing game mode. It can be a lot of fun, but it can get a little bit repetitive because what ends up happening is the person that gets the most kills gets all the loot. And what's really bad about this is not only is this person, you know, wiping the floor with everybody, killing them by themselves, but every time they kill a player, if it's you or whoever else, they're getting all that person's loot, and then from there of course they're getting even stronger and even more OP, and it gets to a point where they're pretty much the god of the actual lobby, of course the god of the actual I guess the battle obviously, and they just cannot be killed. So with this game mode, what's really cool, or this new death option, excuse me, or these new death options, and what's really cool is obviously of course it can just be the same as normal, which is where obviously you'll drop it when you die, and obviously someone can pick it up once they kill you, or if you go down keep, it means that you can be killed but you'll still have the items when you respawn, or clear, which means all the items will not be dropped and you will not have them when you respawn either. They'll just be entirely wiped. So it's a really awesome little thing, a small thing but something that I think 4G definitely should have implemented to battle mode if they'd still kept working on it of course, which obviously unfortunately they didn't. But yeah, sorry, moving on from there, we've got item drop behavior. Allows you to change what happens to items once a player dies. Then it says normal, vanilla behavior. This is the original version of battle mode. Items are dropped onto the ground. But then of course keep, items do not drop and the players keep their items upon respawning. And then finally, like what we just mentioned, of course clear, items are cleared from the player's inventory and do not get dropped. And then another little feature here is of course quick item despawning. When a player drops items from dying, they will despawn within a few seconds, which is again another really weird but awesome little kind of option to have, and it definitely makes the game a lot more fun because there's more versatility. But moving on from that though, we've got fixed broken weapon damage. Some weapons, axes, shovels and tridents have been dealing 1 extra point of damage. This has been fixed by applying the extra point of damage to all weapons, along with fixing the displayed damage for enchanted weapons. Then we've got console damage combat option. This option allows you to revert the extra point of damage being applied to all weapons. This can be found in the custom combat type and will be turned off when using modern combat. And of course finally for the fixes, there is removed hero buying twice, which is always a lovely little kind of nod to 4G's old changelogs back in the day. Now going up from there, we've got what is in my opinion really one of the most exciting parts of this entire changelog, and that is what's being worked on. So first of all, we've got Recon Mode. Recon Mode will allow players to explore a map alone and test certain scenarios. There will be infinite respawns and no time limit. This feature will only be available in private rooms once they are available. And then we've got respawn gear game option, and this is something that Emmie and I actually already talked about as well, which is a really fascinating thing, but I'll add on to that in a little minute. It says this game option will allow players, or will give players, weapons, tools, food, etc. upon respawning in a round with multiple lives. The items given will change depending on how long the match has been going on for. So first of all, let's cover the kind of smaller thing, but it's still a very big thing, but in my opinion obviously it's smaller the lesser of the two, and that is of course the respawn gear option. Now this is a really fascinating concept that Emmie is obviously in the midst of working on, and it's obviously not finished yet of course, but it's something that Emmie actually spoke to me about obviously prior to this changelog being released of course, or this progress update being released, and it's such an awesome little thing. In a nutshell, like what we were talking about a minute ago with the whole kind of, if you have a game with unlimited lives, or you know multiple lives in general, maybe not unlimited but whatever it may be, and you have the game mode to say the original classic game mode, which is where if you die you lose all your loot, it drops on the floor, someone can steal it, whatever. One one of the more unfortunate parts of that, and if you've been and played these game modes, of course, with unlimited lives or multiple, you'll know that if it is just a traditional vanilla version, of course, which it always is, what ends up happening usually most of the time is people steal your loot, you have no loot, and then you've got to go roaming for chests and trying to find loot, because obviously now you're back to square one, and this makes you incredibly vulnerable. Now, not only are you incredibly vulnerable, but one of the worst parts about this is usually at this point in time, because the players that are remaining are kind of either OP or they're kind of long-lasting players, they're already in the midst of looting all the chests around the map, so it's quite hard for you to already get some kind of loot, even when you've got none. And what's really fascinating about this concept is it would basically mean that players can respawn with a set given amount of loot, and obviously, of course, the loot itself can change depending on how long the match has been going on for. So say it's been going on for, you know, 5 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes, there's a couple players left and they've got all OP stuff, you might actually respawn with some decently OP stuff that gives you a bit of a fighting chance as opposed to having nothing. So it's definitely an amazing concept and an amazing game option that is something that really is just adding upon what 4J done, of course, and making it even better. So all props to Emmie on that. Now let's take a step back. I want to talk about Recon Mode, because obviously that's kind of like the big focal point, or focus point, excuse me, of this entire actual video. Now what's really cool about Recon Mode is it's something that I think has a lot of potential for especially new players. I feel like the majority of OG players might not particularly really, I guess, need this or use this, but if you're someone that is a new player to Minecraft Battle Mode Online, or Minecraft Battle in general, or even don't really know all the maps that well, this gives you the opportunity to be able to play on maps by yourself without a time limit, be able to learn where all the chest spawns are, and be able to get, I guess, a better understanding of the maps themselves. Now I do want to just note, Emmie has told me to clarify 100,000% that everything that I'm going to mention next is kind of a subject to change, because obviously it's not finished yet, it's still very much in development, but Emmie has actually given me, I guess you could call it the roadmap, I guess you could say, for potential options and stuff like that she's wanted to do. It's in her to-do list area for the actual Recon Mode itself. So right here you can see it says add Recon Mode, and it's end list to do, of course, labels, data pack. It said would be private games only, infinite or really long round timer. So again, you have pretty much unlimited time to either explore, kind of a set amount of time that is quite lengthy, of course, as opposed to the original. They check for ending a game when there's one player would be disabled, and there would be infinite lives, which is pretty darn cool. Existing would be possible, or exiting, excuse me, would be possible via new menus, pause screen, maybe more options, question mark. Again, it's still very much in development, it's not finished yet, but it's all kind of here in a nutshell of what she wants to do. And then we've got the potential options. It says reload map, change map type, reset chests, refill chests, respawn player, disable damage, change item set, swap game modes, adventure and spectator, and fly mode. And it's just really awesome. And in addition, on top of this, obviously Emmie as well gave me some gameplay to show you guys, I guess, in the background right here right now. So thank you once again to Emmie. You guys can see it right here. This is Emmie actually right now playing herself in Recon Mode, and just obviously, you know, exploring around. And as you can see, you know, there's no time limit. She's able to just go wandering around. The chests are still loading the same way that they usually would when you're playing battle. It's a really awesome concept, in my opinion. I think it's really great. And also, I think she also has someone else join. Of course, it's her alt account that ends up joining the game, and there's still no timer, and they can explore around, which I think is just fantastic. Of course, this would just be for the private lobbies. It wouldn't be like a public kind of feature. You know, like the main lobbies in general, it'd be like a private lobby, a sub kind of thing. But it's definitely really awesome, and it's an amazing addition to LEM in general. Again, it's something that really just builds upon what 4G already done with their battle mode and makes it even better. So yeah, I think that this is an amazing addition to LEM. I think that I know this isn't added yet, it's not really an addition, it's something that's, you know, upcoming, of course, but it's always really incredible to see how much Emmie is continuously building upon LEM, and making it better and better and better. And of course, this is obviously just battle mode, it's not tumble, it's not glide, those will come in the future. We've already talked about those in the past, but I think it's still regardless an amazing thing, and definitely something that we should all be very excited for. Now lastly, for the closing note for the actual changelog, jumping back to there, the actual, I guess, not changelog, you could call it the progress update log, whatever you want to call it, the blog post, it just says closing notes, and it says, you probably already aware, or you're probably already aware, but we didn't do a progress update last month. This was due to the majority of things being worked on being back-end changes or updates we've already covered in previous progress updates. We've also been much more busy with the things going on outside of LEM, and that's it, of course. So again, fantastic blog post. Definitely worth the wait. It's definitely really fascinating to see all these new features coming, or that have been released, of course, are out now, obviously, on the server itself, that Emmie had actually spoken to me about kind of behind the scenes way prior to them actually being released. And it's great to see these other things like Recon Mode and the respawn gear game option being kind of worked on, or being worked on. Obviously there's no date for when they'll come, and obviously the end product is still to be seen, but it's great to see that they're in the midst of being worked on, and I'm super excited to cover them and see them once they're actually fully released. But yeah guys, I'm going to end the video there because this probably been a bit longer than what I initially kind of anticipated or kind of thought it would be in general. If you guys did go to enjoy it, as always, please be sure to drop a like in it, share with your friends and family, and of course be sure to subscribe if you're new around here. Additionally, it goes with it saying, but if you want to check out the blog post, it will be linked down below, same with the actual link to the actual server itself, of course, the actual server IP. Go check them out. Check out Emmie's channel. She'll be linked down below as well. Check out our Patreon, that'll be linked. Support Lem if you can. It's an amazing project. She's an amazing person, and there's so much amazing work getting done on this actual server and within this community. So please, guys, go support it if you can. It'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, everybody, with that all being said, I'm going to end it here properly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you peeps all later on, and have a fantastic day, everybody.